You've got your mock draft over at CBSSports.com. I believe it was published just before Christmas. Darryn Peterson, you have him going number 1. Does whatever is going on with his legs bother you, concern you at all?
I see it. I note it. I know it's happening, GP, but for me, it's just noise. And I think probably for NBA teams, it's just noise too, until they're able to actually do their own research, dive into the medicals, do interviews, and figure out what in the world is happening. Like Cooper Flagg had cramping issues last year at Duke, right? And that was like actually a pretty prominent storyline for a little while. Paolo Banchero struggled cramping at Duke. Maybe it's a Duke thing. I don't know. Darryn Peterson's struggling with cramping at Kansas, and he has like a hamstring injury. There's been top prospects from knees to ankles to soft tissues like hamstrings. I think it can affect everyone. So it doesn't necessarily factor into my evaluation. I think for me, GP, like if you follow the story, it just seems like kind of weird how it's been portrayed, which almost I think, and I'm going to sound like I'm Peterson's PR guy, but it does feel a little bit like it's unfair in a way that like, all right, have you ever had a hamstring injury? Because like, trying to play through a hamstring injury is really, really hard, and they can be tricky. Like sometimes you feel 100% and then sometimes you feel a tweak and you're like, okay, well, I can't go. Well, I feel like it's one of those things where he's clearly not 100%. He's trying to play through it. He's tried to be successful, and he's had like stints where he's looked awesome. The truth is that he's probably still not 100% and may not be 100%. So I don't know. The whole situation with Darryn Peterson, I think it's just weird. It's just weird. But I think if you chalk it up to Peterson's not 100%, he's still trying to give it a go. It doesn't really factor into my final evaluation, other than to note that like, okay, he had some soft tissue injuries and he tried to play through them. Didn't exactly work out, but still, regardless, he's been in the minutes that he's played very, very effective for Kansas.
It's weird because it's unusual at the college level to have a prospect, in and out of games, taking himself out of games, telling you he doesn't feel like he's going to go, minutes restrictions. But this is all very normal at the NBA level. Like, I wonder how many people even know this. Like, quite literally on the same night that Darryn Peterson made 3 free throws at the end of regulation to get a game to overtime, and then did not play in the extra period at all because he was feeling something in his leg and or because he had hit a certain number of minutes. Like literally on the same night, Victor Wembanyama played against the Memphis Grizzlies. The game went to overtime, and he did not play in the overtime. Yep. Like he didn't close the game because of a minutes restriction because he was coming off of an injury. Like, and it's not even a story in the NBA. Like, it's just like, well, yeah, that's the way they handled that situation. Mm-hmm. What, like he played in regulation, but then he didn't play. And well, yeah, that's the way they handle that. That he was coming off of an injury. He didn't feel right. We have a plan going into this. And so this, like, it's not even a thing. Like that wasn't even a headline anywhere outside of San Antonio, probably, because it's a very normal thing at the NBA level. But at the college level, we just haven't really dealt with this too much because, in the NBA, they play so frequently and the game is often played at a faster pace that these like soft tissue injuries pop up all the time. And it's like somebody felt something in their calf or their hamstring. He's out for 2 weeks and we'll reevaluate it then. It's just like almost without exception, that's the way it goes. At the collegiate level, we just don't deal with it as often because they don't play as often. They don't play as fast. They don't deal with this particular type of thing. But obviously it's bothered Darryn Peterson. I'm with you. If I were an evaluator, I'm a general manager of an NBA franchise. I want to know why this is happening, but it doesn't move me off of him. If I 2 months ago identified him as, if I'm picking first, that's who I'm taking, I'm not concerned about what we've seen keep him off the court in any sort of meaningful way. What I'm most interested in is that when he has been healthy, he has looked awesome. When he has been healthy, he has taken over basketball games and looked like a guy who could, run through an NCAA tournament and take a team that otherwise probably shouldn't sniff a Final Four to a Final Four. Like he's that kind of talent. And if you had him going number 1 2 months ago, whatever's going on with his legs right now probably should not move you off of it. Let me ask you about Kingston Flemings. You got him going 19th to the Grizzlies. On behalf of the franchise, just let me tell you, I'll take it. We'll
You're
take
welcome.
that now. Right? But is that a proper representation on January 9th of where you think he would be picked, or is that just something you did on December 24th? But ooh, buddy, he's moving up draft boards now.
Yeah, it's definitely the latter. Our boy Adam Finkelstein's actually moved him up to number 7 on the CBS Sports Big Board. That's probably closer to where he's actually being viewed right now. Actually, Sam Vecini has him at number 5 on his board. He's looked awesome for Houston. Like, legitimately looks like a star. And, you know, it's one thing, like, to look really good, to put up big numbers, and for your team to be good, but you're playing on a team, right, with Milos Uzan, with Chris Sinak, with JoJo Tugler, like all 3 potential first rounders. And Flemings is averaging a team high 16.1 points per game, a team high 5.1 assists per game, a team high 2.1 steals per game. He's shooting 43% from 3. Good size, excellent scorer, playmaker on defense. All of those descriptions, GP, like, that's a lottery pick. That's just a lottery pick. And, you know, the on-off splits have bared out that he is absolutely an impact player for Houston. Houston's 9.0 points per 100 possessions better with him on the floor versus off. And he's very young, obviously. His game is like, you just watch him and you're like, okay, I don't exactly know what I'm watching, but this guy has it, you know, and like the numbers definitely bear that out. He's been very effective as a true freshman for Houston, still very young. This is a guy who is screaming up boards right now and is in the mix, like, legitimately. You know, a month ago we were talking about him as a top 20 prospect. Now he's legitimately played his way into being a potential top 5 pick in the 2026 NBA draft.
Yeah, that's right. Like, if everybody still has a top 3 in some order of Darryn Peterson, AJ DeBonsa, and Cameron Boozer, Kingston Flemings has got to be in any conversation happening outside of those 3.
Yeah.
So you could reasonably, I mean, at this point, I don't want to put any ceilings on him. You could reasonably put him wherever you want, but I wouldn't be surprised to see mock drafts have him as high as 4. And when basically any pre-Christmas mock draft gets updated, you're going to probably see him in the top 10. Everything I've heard from people who work in NBA front offices is, at this point, if the draft were tonight, Kingston Flemings would, it would be a surprise if 10 players were selected before him. Let me ask you about Cameron Boozer, then we'll move on to the final 4 and 1. He is clearly, or at least statistically in a lot of ways, college basketball's best player this season. If we were voting Wooden Award today, I think he would be number 1 on almost everybody's ballot. But he still isn't number 1 in most people's mock drafts. Why? What is it about Cameron Boozer that is so crystal clear he's awesome at this level, but people think it's not obvious to them he shouldn't be the first pick of the draft?
That's a great question. I think it's in part because Darryn Peterson and AJ DeBonsa have been fantastic in their own ways. Like, just for the numbers perspective for Peterson, I know we talked about the injuries, but per CBB analytics, he's 100th percentile in scoring. He's 100th percentile in player efficiency rating. And yeah, maybe, you know, Kansas hasn't figured out a way to play with him, and he hasn't figured out a way to play with Kansas yet, but he's still been very efficient as a scorer. DeBonsa, you know, looks like he's got like a build-a-body physique. He looks like a Greek god. He's an insane athlete. He's been very effective as a scorer. You know, just checks a lot of boxes in terms of the physical frame. So like DeBonsa and Peterson, in the way in which you like evaluate those type of prospects, Peterson a guard, DeBonsa as, you know, kind of a wing, they've been great. And so Boozer, I think that part has hurt him. Those 2 guys have been excellent. And also, like, in general, I think when you're evaluating NBA draft, like, the general public probably just gravitates more toward wings and guards because it's hard to talk yourself over a scoring wing or an athletic wing like DeBonsa or Peterson when you're evaluating Boozer. That being said, like, yes, I have him number 3 on my mock draft. I have him number 1 on my own board. I think he's the best prospect in this class. He doesn't have the insane physique, right? Like he's not the same electric scorer like Peterson or, the athletic marvel like Dabansa, but he's a 4-time high school state champion. He's a winner at every level. He's the son of Carlos Boozer. There's like a built-in pedigree. He's insanely productive at Duke. He leads the team in points, rebounds, assists, steals. And Duke is fantastic. Like they're top 10 in offensive and defensive efficiency. This is a team that's probably going to win the ACC. They're 14-1. I think at some point, GP, there might come a time when that actually flips. Like I don't know if I would predict it, but it won't surprise me if Boozer continues to put up the numbers he has, and he continues to be viewed as the clear like number 3 in the top 3 pecking order of Peterson, Dabansa, and Boozer, specifically because whatever's happening with Peterson is just like turning some people off fairly or unfairly. So yeah, like I think it's an interesting kind of test case in how you evaluate the NBA draft, what you prioritize. But Boozer, just like the personality, the attitude, the swagger he plays with, like all the intangible stuff that maybe NBA teams really value, I think he's going to like check the boxes times a million. And there could be a time between now and the NBA draft where people are viewing Boozer as the number 1 prospect in this class, and perhaps like sooner rather than later.
You can find KB's latest mock draft. It's over at CBS Sports.com. He's got Cameron Boozer 1. Let me confirm it. Is it Darryn Peterson? He's got Cameron Boozer 3rd. Is it Darryn Peterson 1, Dabansa 2? That's your order.
Yes.
I think that's most people's order at this point. Again, you can find his mock draft. Latest one, it's over at CBSSports.com.